Hey everyone, welcome back to What If History Here. Today we're asking one of the most mind-blowing questions yet. What if Leonardo da Vinci, the ultimate Renaissance genius, had access to 3D printing? The man who designed helicopters, tanks, and robots 500 years before they existed, but with the ability to actually build them. Don't forget to subscribe because this is about to get absolutely incredible. Let's dive in. Part 1, the genius trapped on paper. Alright, so let's talk about Leonardo da Vinci for a second. This man wasn't just an artist, he was literally a genius from the future stuck in the 1400s. Leonardo designed a helicopter in 1485. A helicopter. He called it the aerial screw. He designed tanks, submarines, parachutes, machine guns, robots. All of this 400 to 500 years before these things actually existed. His notebooks are filled with inventions that wouldn't be built until the 20th century. But here's the tragedy. Almost none of it was ever built during his lifetime. Why? Because the materials and manufacturing techniques didn't exist. Leonardo could imagine a flying machine, but 15th century Italy couldn't produce the lightweight materials, precise gears, or powerful engines needed to make it work. He was sketching ball bearings and drawn-out designs for things that required industrial precision manufacturing. He was designing with his mind centuries ahead, but his hands were limited to wood, rope, and basic metalwork. Imagine the frustration. You can see the future in your mind. You can draw it perfectly, but you can't build it. You're trapped watching your ideas die on paper. Now imagine giving Leonardo a 3D printer. Suddenly, precision manufacturing is instant. Complex gears, printed in an hour. Lightweight materials, done. Aerodynamic shapes that would take master craftsmen months to carve, printed overnight. Leonardo's limitation was never imagination or intelligence. It was manufacturing capability, and 3D printing removes that barrier completely. Part 2, the inventions come alive. Okay, so let's go through what Leonardo could actually build with 3D printing. First, the flying machine. Leonardo's ornithopter was designed to mimic bird flight with mechanical wings. In his time, impossible. The materials were too heavy and the mechanics too imprecise. But with 3D printing, he can create lightweight carbon fiber-like materials, print perfect gears and joints, test aerodynamics, and iterate designs in days instead of never. Does Leonardo achieve human flight in 1495? Honestly, maybe. Not with engines, but with gliders and wing designs that actually work. He might not fly to Rome, but he could prove humans can control flight. That's 400 years before the Wright brothers. Second, the tank. Leonardo designed an armored vehicle with 360-degree cannons powered by men turning cranks inside. With 3D printing, he can actually build a working prototype. It's not a modern tank, but it's an armored assault vehicle in 1485. Warfare changes immediately. Third, the robot. Leonardo designed a mechanical knight that could sit, stand, and move its arms. With 3D printing, this isn't just a drawing, it's a working automaton. He's creating programmable machines 500 years before computers. Fourth, the diving suit. Leonardo designed a full underwater breathing apparatus. With 3D printing for precise seals and valves, it actually works. Suddenly humans can explore underwater in the 1490s. But here's what gets really wild. Leonardo wouldn't stop at his original designs, because now he can test things. He can print a prototype, see what fails, redesign it, and print again. That's the modern engineering process. Iteration. Leonardo with 3D printing doesn't just build his original ideas. He improves them, because for the first time, his imagination has no limits. Part 3, the Renaissance goes industrial. Alright, so if Leonardo has 3D printing, what happens to the Renaissance in the world? First major change. Other inventors get access. Because Leonardo wasn't the only genius of the Renaissance. Michelangelo, Galileo, Brunelleschi, all these minds suddenly have the ability to manufacture their ideas. Galileo designs a telescope in 1609. But with 3D printing available, he's creating precision lenses and mechanisms decades earlier. Astronomy explodes. We discover the moons of Jupiter in 1580 instead of 1610. Brunelleschi designs the dome of Florence Cathedral, but imagine if he could 3D print scale models to test structural integrity. Architecture leaps forward 200 years. Second change. The Industrial Revolution starts early. 3D printing is essentially rapid prototyping and manufacturing. If this technology spreads through Renaissance Italy, you're kickstarting mass production and engineering innovation centuries ahead of schedule. By 1550, Europe has working gliders, advanced mechanical devices, and engineering capabilities that shouldn't exist until 1850. The Renaissance doesn't just rediscover classical knowledge, it creates the future. Third change. Warfare evolves immediately. Leonardo's tank, his machine guns, his fortification designs, all of them become real. Whoever has 3D printing technology dominates militarily. Italy becomes a technological superpower. Do the Ottoman sieges fail because Italian fortifications are now 300 years more advanced? But here's the darker side. Technology always spreads. And 3D printing in the wrong hands? Leonardo designed weapons. Beautiful, innovative, terrifying weapons. If every European power gets 3D printing, warfare becomes exponentially more destructive centuries earlier. Maybe that's not good. Maybe humanity wasn't ready for that level of technological power in the 1500s. Maybe we're still not ready for it. Part 4, the artist versus the engineer. Okay, so here's a question nobody asks. If Leonardo can actually build his inventions, does he stop painting? Because here's the thing. Leonardo is famous today for the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. But he considered himself an engineer first, artist second. He took engineering jobs, designed war machines for dukes, and spent way more time on inventions than paintings. He never finished most of his paintings because he was distracted by engineering projects that he knew would never be built. He was painting to pay bills while dreaming about flying machines. But with 3D printing, his engineering ideas can actually become real. Does he abandon art entirely? Do we lose the Mona Lisa because Leonardo is too busy testing his helicopter design? That's a really interesting trade-off. We might gain the future of technology 400 years early, but we might lose some of the greatest artwork ever created. Second question. Does success change him? Leonardo was known for being a perfectionist who never finished projects. He'd start something, get obsessed with making it perfect, then abandon it when it couldn't meet his standards. But with 3D printing, he can achieve perfection. He can iterate until it's exactly right. Does that make him more productive? Or does he get trapped in endless refinement, printing version after version, never satisfied? Third question. Fame and recognition. In our timeline, Leonardo died relatively unknown as an inventor. His notebooks weren't really studied until centuries later. He's famous now, but he died thinking most of his work was ignored. But in this timeline, he's building flying machines and robots that actually work. He's the most famous person in Europe. Kings and popes are begging for his inventions. He gets the recognition he deserved. Does that make him happier? Or does fame and pressure ruin the creative freedom that made him brilliant in the first place? Part 5. What this means for creativity. So what can we actually learn from this thought experiment? First lesson. Tools unlock potential, but they don't create it. Leonardo was a genius with or without 3D printing. The technology just lets him express what was already in his mind. How many modern Leonardos exist right now who have incredible ideas but lack the tools to build them? Second lesson. Constraints force creativity. Leonardo's designs are so brilliant partly because he couldn't build them. He had to imagine perfection because he couldn't test reality. If he could print and test everything, would his designs be as visionary? Or would practical limitations make them more conventional? There's something about dreaming the impossible that pushes imagination further than testing the possible. Third lesson. The gap between idea and execution is where most innovation dies. Leonardo had thousands of ideas. In our timeline, almost none became real during his life. With 3D printing, that gap disappears. And that's exactly where we are today. We live in an era where 3D printing exists, where CAD software is free, where you can design something in your bedroom and have it manufactured and shipped globally. We have the tools Leonardo dreamed of. So the question isn't, what if Leonardo had 3D printing? The question is, what are we doing with 3D printing that Leonardo would have done? Are we using these tools to build flying machines and change the world? Or are we printing phone cases and fidget spinners? Leonardo would have used every tool available to push human capability forward. He wouldn't have wasted the opportunity. And maybe that's the real lesson. The tools exist now. The technology is here. The only question is whether we have the vision and courage to use them the way Leonardo would have. Because genius isn't about having the best tools. It's about having the imagination to see what those tools could become. All right, everyone, that's our journey through a world where Leonardo had 3D printing. If you enjoyed exploring this Renaissance meets future timeline, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Next time, we're asking, what if Cleopatra had Instagram? Yes, really. And it's going to be amazing. Thanks for watching What If History Here, and I'll see you in the next timeline.